Hi, today we'll see how to create a voice menu in your self-hosted voice agent with Callflow. We're going to be using Callflows, however, you can also use System Prompt, however, it's not as reliable. I'm mentioning this because you can also use LiveKit if you're using LiveKit directly to create self-hosted voice agents, and you can also use this with other platforms that maybe do not allow to self-host voice agents, but yeah, it is also applicable to that. However, Callflow helps you create LiveKit voice agents extremely easily and also adds this Callflow's system that adds a lot of, makes the agent behave much more reliably instead of just relying on the system prompt, okay? You'll have the website of Callflow down below in the description. You also have the email to contact the team in case that you have any questions. And also you can schedule a call with me, okay? Everything down below in the description. Awesome, so this is Callflow. I'm going to be making it in light mode. And well, I've been preparing a lot of agents for different videos. However, today what we'll be testing is this menu agent and this Callflow here, okay? First of all, I'm going to be showing you how it sounds and how it is, okay? I'm using Digram for both the STT and TTS and using OpenAI for the LLM. Great, so let's start with the testing.
Hi, I will guide you through a quick menu. You can say the number or the option. Choose one option. 1, technical support. 2, sales and plans. 3, billing and payments. 4, schedule or reschedule an appointment. 5, talk to a human. 6, other inquiry. Respond with the number or word, for example, 1 or support.
Billing and payments.
Got it. Billing and payments. Is that right?
Yeah, and that's it because it is an extremely simple example, okay? Today we are just working with the menu. And of course, if you want the agent to sound much more realistically, choose another model. I'm just using Aura model from Digram. It's the cheaper option, okay? But make sure to choose the right providers and models to make it sound correctly, okay? And actually talking about the configuration of the agent that we're going to be going through now, you have the JSON down below in the description so that if you have Callflow, you can just import the agent into your Callflow installation and you'll have the agent pre-built, okay? But yeah, I haven't had anything like that here, just set the time zone, okay? In advanced option, that is by default already activated. Maybe you want to play around with this activation threshold and these other parameters, but yeah, I would just recommend to leave everything as it is. Maybe you want to modify the amount of CPU cores and memory that is allocated to that agent, okay? Every agent runs in a separate Docker container, so yeah. Then in prompts, I haven't said anything in the first message because the first message is set in the Callflows, okay? You can also just set it here and it's going to have preference over the first message in the Callflows, but yeah, just to avoid conflict, I just didn't set anything in here, okay? In the system prompt, this is just one of the templates that I shared 4 or 5 months ago in another video, okay? But it's just defining the personality, the environment, tone and style, the different goals, okay? Different phases of the goals, goal 2, guardrails, how it should be, what it shouldn't be doing, and something like this, okay? Example dialog, tools, and internal configuration, okay? This is, you can talk about here about the tools, the native tools and the custom tools that you set, okay? By default, the native tools do already have a native system prompt that gets added to the system prompt that you set here. But if you want a specific behavior, for example, by using the transfer to human, then here we have tools that basically is a place to define what it should be doing with each tool. Basically, for example, with the transfer to human tool, should be transferring to human whenever the user asks for it, for example, okay? And yeah, and then internal configuration with some variables that you may want the agent to know, okay? A pretty basic knowledge base. Of course, you can then connect a knowledge base through this system, okay? But yeah, then in tools, you can set custom HTTP tools if you need, and these are the native tools that comes with Callflow, okay? That gets added to the agent directly. Schedule callback is deactivated because, yeah, you have to select a Callflow and an outbound trunk to make it work correctly, okay? So I have just deactivated because I do not need schedule callback right now. And then in security, we'll be adding more native security measures, but currently it's just bot detection, native CAPTCHA. I'm going to be activating it just in case, okay? But it is not extremely needed, but I'm just going to activate it, okay? Remember, you'll have this JSON down below in the description, okay? Then you also find the JSON for the call flow down below in the description, okay? This is the call flow that we're going to talk about. You can do all of these in the system prompt, but it is not as reliable, okay? You know that AI is not deterministic, so voice AI agents can do whatever they want, even though you have specified specific steps in the system prompt. It is not as reliable as using call flows, okay? Because call flows, it's pretty much programmatic to give much more deterministic behavior instead of relying solely on the AI of the agent, okay? So yeah, first of all, we have a trigger for a web call, but of course you could be adding a trigger for a phone call, okay? Select an outbound or an inbound trunk, and that's it, that you may have set up in the corresponding section. Then we have a connect agent node, select the agent. Then we have the conversation node. This is what it has said at the beginning. Hi, I will guide you through a quick menu. This is what I was mentioning when I was talking about the first message field in the agent. That's why I removed it, because I just wanted to say this from the conversation node, okay? So yeah, this is basically what you've heard. This literal mode just uses the TTS component of the agent, so it's much quicker responding, and it's much reliable because it will not modify the message. It will say the message forever, the exact same message, okay? And then the next step condition to go to the next step, it just user gave a brief response. Maybe you can use other conditions or combination of conditions to make sure that the user has really responded with an option from here and has not responded with anything else, okay? Then it's extracting the value, okay, the option that it has set, and yeah, it's just giving a summary response from the menu, and then a route that it's basically conditional. It's going to be checking. You could be using the logic one and just compare this value with the keyword, but possibly it's much better to make sure that it has been evaluated correctly, the condition, to just use descriptive. First, it's going to be checking for the keywords. You could be adding much more keywords, for example, support, technical, customer attention, whatever, okay? And first it's going to check if the live transcription does have this keyword, and if not, it's going to evaluate via the LLM, okay? This is the same behavior for each of the options, as you can see right now. First set the keyword and then the description, okay? And yeah, that's pretty much it, because then we have the response for every of the options, okay? If there are technical support required, it's just going to say this, okay? Literally, and the next step condition, it's user gave a substantive response to what is happening, which service is affected, whatever. And then you could be transferring, you could be adding perfectly another route, okay? And extract value, extracting exactly what happened to the user, and then depending on what's happening, transfer the call to a specific department with human, or transfer the call to another human agent. Okay, you could be doing that very well. And this is pretty much the same for every other one. This is the option where it is choosing to talk with a human. Okay, as you can see, transfer to human. You'll have to select a human agent here that you can set in the human agents section. Okay, you can create a department and then create agents and assign those agents to different departments. Okay, and if you do that and come back to the call flows, you'll have the agents available here. You can select the specific agent or select the department. Okay, and it's just going to try with each of the agents. Okay, if one agent does not respond, one human agent does not respond, it's going to try with a second human agent assigned to the department. Okay, and I would recommend to activate word transfer. This is so that the agent gives a brief description of the issue that the human is having, that the user is having, gives a brief description to the human agent. Okay, and then the human agent can say, yeah, please transfer me to the call. And yeah, I think that's much more user friendly. Okay, because whenever a human agent is connecting to the call, he already knows what's the issue with the user. Yeah, I think that you should be activating this. Please set a hold message that it's going to say the AI agent to the user, and that's it. Okay, and yeah, then in end call you can enable hang up. So this means that whenever the call flows arrives to this node, it's just going to automatically hang up the call. And you can also enable post-call evaluation. Okay, select the LLM provider, model, the language, instructions for the evaluation. Also, you can have call and reasons, analyze what happened, why the user hung up, maybe it was angry, I don't know. And also you can send the result of the evaluation via webhook or via email, okay? In case that you have set up the SMTP server in the settings section. And actually I wanted to tell you that we're working on IVR menu. So all of this would be just replaced by a single node, okay? Doing exactly this, but it's still in progress, okay? So yeah, that's pretty much it. You have both JSONs down below in the description, and you also have the email to contact the team or schedule a call with me in case that you want to discuss if CallFlow would be a good fit for your business. So yeah, see you in the next video.